All right, we are rolling on as we preview every single team, trying to find the best value for fantasy football in 2024. And we've made our way to the AFC South. And the first team on there is going to be the Houson Texans, who surprised everybody last year. We're way better than people thought. And then now their expectations are way higher. But trying to now figure out who is the guy that we think has the best value, because there's actually a lot of people here. There's 3 receivers that could have value. Joe Mixon's there now. Dalton Schultz is a solid tight end for him. There's all kinds of options you could pick. But going through it and trying to figure out, all right, who do you pick at wide receiver? Who's the guy who's going to break out? But who's the guy that should be the best value out of this? Mixon's actually going for a high price too, so it's hard to say. I'm thinking, why isn't it CJ Stroud? I think it's CJ Stroud. He is, if you look at Fantasy Pros, they currently have him valued at $8 as the 8th quarterback, I think. On ESPN, he is going as the 5th quarterback right now in current drafts, which I know, very early. But he's going 5th at $12. 8 to 12. I think that's really good value for who he has on this team and how good this offense should be. I think that's a good solid one if you don't want to pay for the Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, Jackson, but you want to get a guy who you feel decently comfortable with. It's 1 year in. I don't have 100% confidence, but the offense should be pretty good. So I think CJ Stroud's the value here.
I would agree with you. I think that if you're looking for a top 10 guy, that's not going to be a top 3-4 guy. Perfect, right? I would put him in the same category as I put like Jordan Love, and I actually think that he has better weapons. Maybe he's not quite as polished as Jordan Love yet, but last year he showed us plenty, right? And it really, so I totally agree with that. And then it brings us to the other question. If he's going to be very good, then the trio of wide receivers should be pretty good too.
Yep.
But as you look at the names, you're kind of like, okay, well, all of them are ranked relatively high right now. You have Tank Dell, you have Nico Collins, and then you have Stephon Diggs, who just came over from Buffalo, who I laugh because we were just talking about what kind of year did he really have last year. And I was like, it was pretty good. Like, numbers were good. And then Craig was like, well, it's kind of bad. It was disappointing fantasy-wise. And then we looked at it, it's because his numbers were good, but it was front-loaded in the year.
His first 6 weeks, he was awesome.
Is that a year? Is that an age thing? Is that Buffalo also entirely kind of fell apart? So will that happen again? Because he was still 1,200 yard wide receiver with about 8 touchdowns. CJ Stroud, everywhere he's gone, he's been the guy. I don't think I really love Nico Collins, and we were kind of amping him up as he kept getting better and better. Do you think Tank Dell or Nico Collins will really be the number 1 wide receiver over Diggs?
No, that it's like, do you get that 1 year, that new team bump where he really has one more year in him? You could. And so if his price stays at this $20 range-ish, he could end up being a very good value. I'll say, I think Nico Collins was good last year. And he's a Michigan guy, so I like Nico. I'm not going to spend $20+ on Nico Collins.
He's not the guy.
No.
But I will say, like, I really liked him, but it's because he was such a good value last year. I'm like, take a chance on the 3rd-year wide receiver. Well,
Tank Dell is interesting, too, because there's such a difference right now in, like, what Fantasy Pros will value him based on what he's going for in ESPN. And it's because factors. It's his injury last year, and then it's the fact he got shot a couple weeks ago. But he's back at practice. It looks like it's going to be fine. He should have no issues. He just comes right back. But the difference is he's back at practice.
That's the weirdest bounce back of all time.
He's like 3 weeks later. He's at practice. So on Fantasy Pros, they put him as the 14th receiver at $24. He's going for 5 in drafts. That will change drastically. That's why I can't even pick the receivers, because I think their pricing is going to fluctuate so much.
Yeah,
so
I would love to say that Diggs is going to be the value on this team.
It could change too. It could go way up.
I think it's gonna skyrocket.
I can see Dell and I can see Diggs going up. I can see Nico going down in price. And I don't know. It's hard to pick. But so that's why they have all these guys. So it's Stroud. It's Stroud.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. And I will say, what are the 3 values currently? I know it's super early, but what are the 3 values for Nico, Dell, and Diggs? Because I will tell you on Fantasy Pros, as far as just
so what they're actually going for here. So on ESPN drafts currently, Nico is going for $22. Diggs is going for $20, and Tank Dell is going for $4.9.
Okay, and it's funny because I once again, you wonder how much this has caught up since all the trading and everything, because they do have Diggs technically ranked as the 24th wide receiver at $16, which that would be a value. I do not think in any world he will actually stay low. He will be in the top 10 ranked wise. I can't imagine a world outside of that. But right now, he's down there. Nico Collins is at $29 at the number 8 wide receiver, because he did miss a few games and he played his butt off. He was great. And then Tank Dell is number 14 actually at $24. So I do like what you're saying. And if I think about it too, Tank Dell, if you have Diggs and you have Collins and everyone is healthy, Dell is grabbing the third CB, or I feel like there's a lot of open area that he could cover.
CJ Stroud should have a good year.
Yeah.
There we go. I like it. So I like CJ Stroud. I think this should be a good offense. So, all right, there we go. There's the Texans. They rebuilt pretty quick. So
they did a wonderful job. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Didn't see it coming, but there we go. All right. Talk to you guys next time.